We've got a large map. You have to get a bigger map of the area because we're getting north here. Get a general map. Yes, Hamath is north of Zobah. Okay? And it says that this king, as soon as David had won the battle against Hadadezer of Zobah, that this guy sent his own son down to David, all the way up from the west of the Euphrates River, and said, "Good work, brother. I've been fighting this guy for years." And he gave him gold and silver and brass. Right? Gold, silver, and brass. Okay. 8:12. Who did he fight? Chapter 8, verse 12. That we haven't mentioned already.
Just going over the things he's done.
Okay, possibly he's summarizing. I don't think we've looked at any specific reference to the Ammonites yet.
That's right. Have the very first when it starts to go into Moab, on mine they have there's a couple branching off, and it's in the Ammonite territory.
Okay. It's possible that that's where he fought against the Amalekites too, or his reference to Amalekites is his original, when he was back in Ziklag. We're not given specific information, but Ammon and Amalek are the ones that haven't actually been mentioned are in 2nd Samuel. So Ammon and Amalek, unknown locations, except that David won. Okay, 8:13. I got to rub something out here. 8:13. What did he get? Who did he fight?
Still summer. Serious.
Well, I think it's another campaign because different specifics and a different specific location. 18,000 men were killed in the Valley of Salt. Now, wherever that is, I don't know.
I got a line of flood in the Dead Sea.
Really?
Yeah.
Syria?
Yeah, it's got Edomites, no, sorry.
Syria is north.
Right at the Valley of Salt.
Yeah. Unless they just allied together. It's funny that he would mention that in between Ammon, Amalek, and Edom. Okay? Because those are all east and south of Israel.
Well, right after verse 14, so then you put garrisons in Edom. Yeah, Edom put garrisons, well, so it's down.
It may be that there was, some economic reasons why the Syrians were interested in the Valley of Salt.
Yeah.
And so they came south to fight for it. Anyway, so the Syrians were defeated. And then 8:14, Moab is mentioned. And what did he get from Moab? Oh, I'm sorry. Edom. What did he get from Edom? Right? Slave labor. Okay, now we're just about to the end of David's battles. This is the famous one that most people don't remember because it's overshadowed by David's great sins. Who was he fighting against when he should have been in battle? And he was on his rooftop instead, looking at a naked woman. Nope. 10:1. was back in Jerusalem, and his captain Joab was out fighting who? Right? Ammonites and Syrians who had joined together. What happened was that David had made a nice gesture. He had already subdued Ammon, right? It already says that in chapter 8, verse 12. He'd already subdued this guy's father. Well, this guy's father dies. The young son becomes the king. David sends an envoy of men to show his condolences to this guy. And this guy's counselors persuade him that the only reason David's men are there is to spy out the place so that they can come in and rip them off in battle. So he cuts their clothes in half, shaves half their hair off their bodies, and sends them back to Jericho in disgrace. Right? David says, stay there, and so he opens up a campaign against them right away. As soon as, right? And it says he fought against 33,000 of these men and kills. There was 33,000 Syrians and Ammonites together. And chapter 10, verses 13 and 14 gives us the outcome of stage 1. This battle was fought in stages. Stage 1, who won? Yeah. 10-1. Came to pass after this that the king of the children of Ammon died, and Hanun his son reigned in his stead. Then said David, I will show kindness to Hanun the son of Nahash, as his father showed kindness to me. David sent to console him by the hand of his servants for his father, and David's servants came to the land of the children of Ammon. So they mistreated them, and verse 6, when the children of Ammon saw that they had become odious before David, the children of Ammon sent and hired the Syrians up north to fight for them. They brought them down from Beth Rehob, Zobah, Maacah, and Tov, 4 different localities. Right? Verse 8, the children of Ammon came out. They were the ones that were fighting face on, and they hid the Syrians in a field. The end of the verse, I guess, just as a backup or a surprise attack. The end of the battle is recorded in verses 13 and 14. What resulted? Right? So they lost. Right? So Israel won. Joab won. Stage 2. This is stage 1. It wasn't a decisive victory. They just happened to kill a bunch of soldiers. So this is where David, chapter 11, verse 1, he sent Joab and his other armies out. And it says they were going against Rabbah. Where's Rabbah on the map? Rabbah. It's not on that map. Did you find it? Yeah. It's not on this map, but it's about, it looks to me like it's about 15 miles east of Jordan.
Oh, Rabbah Ben-Amr?
Yeah.
Oh, I know that. Yeah, sure. You can see the full name.
Well, Rabbah of Ammon.
Yeah.
Say.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
Is it about here? Somewhere?
Alright, 30 miles
30 miles?
from that tip. So yeah, we're Philadelphia. It's close there.
This is 25 miles. That's what we see. Okay. So it's about 25 or 30 miles northeast of the Dead Sea in Ammon. So that's where Joab was sent while David stayed in Jerusalem. So this is stage 2. What happened? Were they able to win?
No, they lost, didn't they? I can't remember. He goes to take the city, they go up, and that's where Uriah gets killed, right?
Right.
And because of that, didn't they lose the battle then?
I don't think they lose the battle. It's just that they don't make any headway. They're just fighting for a long time.
They don't take the city.
It's a deadlock. It's interesting. You come to chapter 12 after the whole thing blows up in David's face. This is 9 months later. His wife has carried this child to term, right? She has the baby boy. 8 days later, he dies. So this is 9 months later, David's sin becomes public before the whole people. They're still fighting in Rabbah. And let's read it, 12:26 to the end. And Joab fought against Rabbah of the children of Ammon and took the royal city. This is 9 months later after David had confessed his sin. They finally get victory. And Joab sent messengers to David and said, I have fought against Rabbah, I have taken the city of waters. Now therefore gather the rest of the people together and encamp against the city and take it, lest I take the city and it be called after my name. And David gathered all the people together, went to Rabbah, fought against it, and took it. He took their king's crown from his head, the weight of which was a talent of gold with the precious stones. It was set on David's head, and he brought forth the spoil of the city in great abundance. And he brought forth the people who were in it, put them to labor with saws, and with harrows of iron, and with axes of iron, and made them toil at the brick kiln. Thus did he unto all the cities of the children of Ammon. So David and all the people returned to Jerusalem. So stage 1 is mediocre victory. Stage 2 is drawn out, is a draw, 9 months, a 9-month draw. Okay. Stage 3 is ultimate victory, David's victory. And he gets out of it gold, slaves, gold and slaves. There's only 4 more battles recorded in the whole book outside of the civil war that takes place in chapters 15 to 21 that I don't have time to look at tonight. What was the civil war all over? His son Absalom. What did you say?
Yeah.
I thought you said Absalom or something. Yes, his son Absalom sets up a rival kingdom and is ultimately killed. It's a period of real unrest and difficulty for David in his latter years. Chapter 21, verses 15 to 22 give us 4 separate battles. 4 different battles. And I'd like you to read through that on your own right now and tell me what the results of it were. What did David get out of it?
Where?
Chapter 21, verses 15 to 22. These are the last battles fought during David's reign.
Into what?
22. Chapter 21, verses 15 to 22.
Yeah.
In the chapter. What is the result? 2 battles are fought in a place called Gob, or Gold. 1 battle is fought in Gath. One place, it doesn't tell us where it was fought. The Israelites were victorious in each case. What was the result?
It would be dead for it?
Yeah, what was the end result?
Abishai, first and Abishai killed the giant.
Right?
I don't see any. I don't see gold or shades or any tribute.
No, there's no reference to any gold or tribute.
Sacrifice these fat.
Right? Verse 19, another result.
The last devil king.
Right? And 22.
Yeah, that's four giants.
Yep. They killed 4 giants in the last 4 battles. One guy had 6 toes and 6 fingers in each hand and foot. The other guys were just giants. David just about lost his life in the first battle. This guy had, he weighed 300, Ishbibenob, Ishbibenob, a son of the giant. He had a spear that weighed 300 shekels of brass. And he had a new sword, thought of slaying David, so he went out. But Abishai, David's nephew, killed him. And then another one of David's mighty men killed a giant by the name of Saph. And another one of David's mighty men killed a brother of Goulais. By the way, that's one of the problem passages in the Bible. You know that? In Chronicles, it says something different. That is a problem passage. Here it says slew the brother of Goliath, and in the Chronicles passage it says he slew Goliath. And the Hebrew is the text in one of these verses is screwed up. It's a textual problem. And
Their brothers are Goliath.
I think he was a brother of Goliath.
All of the 4.
No, I don't think so.
These 4 were born younger than death and fell by the hand of David.
Well, maybe so. Yeah, kind of interesting. So, the first battle David fought, he killed a giant. In the last 4 battles, he fought 4 giants were killed.
He doesn't give the word glory like the first.
Okay, now from this you can kind of get a glimpse of the territory that the Israelites had control over. David's kingdom stretched from the Euphrates River, right? He had, how many people did David make alliances with? Tyre and Hamath. The farthest ones away. Okay. So he wasn't strong enough to actually go up there and subdue these people and put them under tribute. So he voluntarily, he made friends with them more or less. Or he responded to the friendly overtures of them is probably more the way it took place. See? But he actually subdued the Syrians to the north, right? He subdued the Ammonites, the Moabites, the Edomites to the east, Amalekites to the south, Philistines throughout the center of the land, west. Right?
Why you couldn't build the temple.
Too much blood on his hands. Right? But because he did that, he was able to get all kinds of slave labor, freedom to move unhindered throughout his country, right? To transport materials. he gathered all kinds of gold, silver, and brass. He got tribute from at least two different groups of people. He got tribute from Moab and Syria. So this, at the end of David's reign, it tells us in, I think it's in Chronicles, it summarizes all the materials that he had collected. And this was as a result of his war booty. Okay, well, I'll try to put this on a map for you when you get back. I won't have a test in this until we finish the United Kingdom. Okay? So it'll be after the spring break.
What about that idea?
What's that? Sure. They don't want you to listen to this.